Hi, I'm Laura. Welcome to Pretty Powerful Pandas, a mini-series where I'll walk you through the most useful, elegant lines of code in Pandas, whether you're just starting out or you want to level up your data game. Hi, and welcome back to Pretty Powerful Pandas. Today we're digging into one of Pandas' most practical tools. We're going to go a step further than last episode. We're going to look at the one that lets us slice, summarize, and compare data in a single line, and that's our .Groupby. If you've ever used pivot tables in Excel, this is that, but upgraded with full Python power. So I've imported our pandas as PD, and I've got our DataFrame, which is our Titanic data set, and we're just going to look at the first couple of rows of that. So let's start simple. Let's look at the survival rate by passenger class. So what we do is we take our data frame and we do our group by, and we are going to group by the P class. So we're going to put that in, and that's going to pivot the table. So that's kind of going to be our index now, kind of. And I want to know, out of those people in dependent passenger class, how many of them survived. And let's find the average of that. And there we go. In a single line, we have got all of the people on the Titanic pivoted and grouped by passenger class and whether they survived or not based on what passenger class they were in. Now, instantly, this is very readable, powerful, and very, very useful, because we can see very clearly that the lower classes had a significantly lower survival rate, and very quickly. We can also do a count. So if we do a DataFrame.groupby, and this time we're going to check out where they embarked. And we're going to do passenger ID for this one because we just need, we're just counting. And there we go. And we can really clearly see that the majority of people came from S, and then the C, and lastly very few came from Q. Now just to give you a little bit of a background about what that is, if I bring in a picture, there we go. So we can actually see that it was built in Belfast, the Titanic, and then it went to Southampton, where the majority of passengers got on, popped over to France, where we had a few extra, and its last stop was near Cork before it went on its treacherous journey. And yes, we can sum those values as well. So let's see how much money each country brought in. So let's do a DataFrame.groupby. We're going to keep with embarked. And this time, because we're going to sum, we're going to look at some money. There we go. So we can see that actually, even though only 168 people jumped on at Cherbourg in France, they brought in over 10,000 money, whatever it was. And even though we had a huge amount of people from England, the bottom of England, Southampton, they only brought in 17,000, so not even that much. So we could probably suggest that there was a lot more people in Cherbourg on the first classes. Their tickets were more expensive. We can see in Cork, even though 77 people, this was not very much, they only brought in about a tenth of the money that was brought in France. So we can suggest that possibly a lot of people coming in from Ireland were in the third classes and those cheaper tickets. So a lot of information just in a couple of lines of code, basically. Okay, what if we wanted to look at multiple columns? So we're not just limited to a single column when we do a group by. Let's compare some multiple statistics in a single group. So again, if we do our group by, this time, let's still look at our class. But this time we're going to do a list of things here. Let's look at the age of people and how much they were bringing in. And let's just go with the average for this one. So here we can see that we've grouped by, and we've got lots of information, and we've got the average age per class and the average fare, and there we can see, yeah, people in first class were obviously bringing in a lot more money than those people in third class, which makes sense. Let's take that a step further. We're going to group by, and this time we are going to not just have a single index, we're going to do a double index. So we're going to group by P class, and let's say whether they were male or female, and then let's check out whether they survived or not. And again, let's find the mean of this. There we go, and we got a group by that's actually in two parts: what class they were in, whether they were male or female, and their chances of survival. And you can very clearly see that the majority of women in first and second class had huge survival rates. Even in third class, half of them survived, versus those unfortunate souls that did not get onto boats, if we believe the movies. So yeah, really quick, really powerful, and really easy analysis tool using group by. If we wanted to go a little bit further, we could actually visualize it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste this over so you can have a quick look. But we have our group by. We're going to group by what we did earlier, our P class and whether they survived, and find the average. And then if you just do dot plot after it, put a little bit of information and show that. There we go. We can instantly get a visual representation of the survival rate by passenger class. Okay, so dot group by is one of the most elegant tools in Pandas. It is so easy to use. Whether you're comparing performance, analysing categories, or prepping reports, this is definitely a go-to, and it is something I use a lot in my day-to-day role. So it's like a pivot table, but it's cleaner, clearer, and definitely built for analysis. So that's your tip. Now go make your data pretty powerful.